Well, hello, Little Falls. It's just Jeffrey joining you for our latest episode in our historic New Jersey series. And today, we're coming to you from Barrow Mansion here in Jersey City, New Jersey. Now, how long have you been here with Barrow Mansion?
I've been a volunteer for 35 years.
So this is a real love of the location.
It's a labor of love in my case.
That's fabulous.
I'm an architect by profession, so this was a natural. The history begins in 1630 when Cornelius van Voorst was designated the keeper of this land by the Dutch West Indian Company, basically the land of downtown Jersey City. And they farmed it for about 200 years until the Morris Canal was completed, which connected the Midwest to downtown Jersey City, which then went to Manhattan. When that happened, Cornelius van Voorst, a many distant descender of the original Cornelius van Voorst, decided that the farmland was not the best use for this property and divided the land into 25 by 100 foot lots. So he began selling off the land. He kept 6 of the best pieces of property, which is where this mansion is, for his own use, for him and his father-in-law, Dr. William Barrow, to build 2 mansions that he hoped would be examples of the kind of suburban home that they wanted the Manhattanites to come to. The mansion is Greek Revival style. Greek Revival style has a strong emphasis on symmetry. And typically you would have, in a Greek Revival building, particularly like down south where there's bigger lots, they would have one center bay and then either 1 or 2 equal-sized bays on either side. So there'd be symmetry where you have a center corridor and then bays on either side so it's balanced. When you get into an urban environment, the lots are smaller. That isn't as practical. So like in this case, we're not symmetrical. We have 1 bay on the left side of the public hall, of the main hall, and 2 bays on the right side. So we're a little eccentric over there. But other emphasis of symmetry, in these 2 parlors, they are, for the most part, identical. And identical to the point where the door over here, there's another door over here that's a fake door. It goes nowhere, never did go anywhere. There's a wall behind it. Half of it is actually outside the building. So we know it never was.
All in the name of symmetry.
All in the name of symmetry. The mirrors were added by a later owner. Dr. Barrow lived here for 9 years before he passed, and then his wife Eliza lived on for another 12 years. And they ultimately passed it on down to the Van Voorst children. Dr. Barrow was the brother-in-law of Cornelius van Voorst. Van Voorst's wife, who is the sister of Dr. Barrow's wife, passed away shortly before Dr. Barrow built the mansion. And we surmise that they came over here to help raise the children for the Van Voorst because his wife passed away and they had 6 children. So this was a big family compound between the 2 mansions. And so when she passed away, then it went to the Palmier family, who was a local developer. They actually did the row houses just to the right here, developed those. They lived here for 30 years. And then it was sold to the YMCA. We are now in the theater of the mansion. It originally was the gymnasium. It was built by the YMCA. It's actually outside the original mansion. This whole space was built by the YMCA. It actually went down another floor. And you can see from the windows, they continue through. So when the Y built it, it was a floor down. When the church bought the building in 1907, they added this floor to make it more functional. In which case, so that's when they changed the windows, or triple hung windows, into doors so they could use this space. This we use for theatrical productions. We have a children's drama class that meets here on a regular basis. We have all sorts of political events. We have weddings. We have, it's a general purpose space.
This is fantastic. And I love that the space is used like this and that the public, it's still such a viable part of the community as well.
Oh, the building is very heavily used. We have over 35,000 people come through the doors every year. It's used. We have 12-step meetings. There's 28 current groups that meet here on a regular basis. Right now there's an ESL, English as a second language class going on downstairs. The building is very heavily used. This was the servants' dormitory. According to census tracts, the doctor always had 10 servant staff. Head cook, assistant cook, head maid, assistant maid, a groundskeeper, and there always were some children, which were children of the staff. And they would live up here. This was the very top floor. We'll see later that the ceilings pitch down, get pretty low. This must have been pretty unbearable in the summertime.
And it also must have been pretty tight up here for 10 people plus children?
This has the same floor area as down below. So the area is fairly good. The ceiling drops down, so it's not entirely usable. But I never occurred to me about the size of it, but I think this is probably luxurious for servants at the time. The second floor is the same as the parlor floor, and then there's the basement floor below that. So there's basically 4 rooms. This room, an identical size room on the other side, which these are the 2 above the parlor. And then on the other side, there's 2 smaller rooms, a little connecting room in here. So there's essentially five rooms on this floor. But this one and the one on the other side being the biggest, this would have been the master bedroom.
I was just going to ask.
Right. And then they would connect through here would be the dressing area. They didn't have indoor plumbing, so it wasn't the bathroom. It was later converted to a bathroom, but originally it was just the dressing area between the 2 bedrooms.
So now we find ourselves in the basement here at Barrow Mansion, specifically in the kitchen. And again, I keep going over to this. That's an original coal oven?
Not original to the building. It's a coal oven that was added in later. Originally, when the doctor lived here, his servants used the 2 fireplaces, which is one was where the coal oven is. That's a fireplace. Later, the Palmier family, when they bought the building and modernized a lot of things, added electricity and things, they put the coal oven in. So that changed how people could cook.
That's fantastic. And now you were talking about how it distributed heat through the house as well.
Originally they had the fireplaces in each room, but there also were vents in the hall where the heat from the kitchen would go up through the building in the summertime. In the wintertime. In the summertime, they would have what's called a summer kitchen, which would be outside. So when they were cooking, they wouldn't have to generate so much heat in the building. They would cook outside.
And what about this piece behind us?
The garland was added when the church bought the building in 1907, because they used this building for social events. And they used the garland, and the garland still works. We use it for when we have catering for events, they use it to warm up things. And
I use my oven for storage.
Well,
so this is nice to see. So now we find ourselves in this very, very fascinating room, a room that looks as though it were 200 years old. Where exactly are we, Gary?
We are under the front porch, the front portico. This was used for food storage. There's a doorway over here, which is where the servants would bring the supplies in. Again, the servants were always separate from the owner. They would not go for the master of the house. They would not go in the main entrance. They would either go in the back door or come in down here and bring the supplies in. There's a well over there, so in a way, the doctor had indoor plumbing of a extent, but they had an indoor well. This room represents about $500,000 in reconstruction effort. We have raised over $2 million since I've been involved with the project to do the renovation. And $500,000, this is an arch, and arches work by pushing down and pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
So this wall was being pushed out because that one is restrained by the building. So this was being pushed out. So our architects, when we renovated the building, they built a big buttress underneath the stair to hold this wall back. And that's $250,000 worth of work that you can't see because it's under the stair. And then if you look at the sprinkler systems, that's another $250,000 worth of stuff. We are sprinkled throughout the building, and you can see the size of these pipes. You can imagine how difficult it was to hide these pipes in the building and then restore it. So this room has $500,000 worth of renovation effort. And as I like to say, if you can't see it, then you did a historic renovation the correct way.
So here we are concluding our tour of Barrow Mansion, and I have to tell you, Gary, you saved the best for last. this is a fantastic bowling alley. Give us the story.
This is the oldest commercial bowling alley in the country, according to Google and our historian. If you Google oldest bowling alley, one in Wisconsin comes up that's 7 years younger, so we're pretty confident it is. This was built before the Bowling Congress was established, who made the rules. They came out later and certified that is a legitimate size and bowling alley. It was built by the YMCA. We're actually outside the original building. The original building is along this wall, and this is outside. It runs under the theater. You can see where the ceiling drops down. That's where the theater begins. And actually, that's the end of the original building. So this projects past it. Now, when it was a YMCA, the wall on the right was not full height. It was just that little curb. So the men that were working out in the gym could watch the bowlers bowl here. And we still use it. It's a functioning bowling alley. Our biggest limitation is it's very noisy, and we're a very active building, and therefore we can't disturb the other activities when we do it. When we have a wedding, they always rent the bowling alley. People rent it for 50th birthdays. It's really a fun place. It's always the treat of the tour.
Gerry, I can't thank you enough, really, for having us down here and for taking the time. And we look forward to seeing you again. So I definitely want to come back. I'm going to have to just rent the space just to be able to hang out here. So Little Falls, check out Barrow Mansion. Come see our friend Gerry and bowl a couple of rounds. We're going to go head to head as soon as this camera's off. What do you think? I think I'm going to bowl a strike.
I practice here, so I'll take you
All
out.
right, here we go. Have a good day, Little Falls.
Thank you.